What up, peeps? It's your boy Lamzeel coming with another real review. I just watched Greenland 2 Migration in AMC's XL format. Let's talk about it. I didn't have the opportunity to see the first Greenland, and I didn't have time to watch it prior to seeing this sequel on the big screen. With that said, I don't really think I needed to, as this was a continuation from where the previous movie left off, and they had a nice little summary at the beginning of this one to connect both of them up nicely. So if you haven't seen the first one like me, don't worry, this sequel will be able to stand on its own. One thing I dislike about disaster movies is they have a tendency to be a little over the top. I can say that Greenland Migration doesn't fall into that category, fortunately. I felt like this movie was about the people, how they cope, survive, and live through a large-scale disaster, and not just a showcase on how bombastic and over-the-top they can make the effects and the included drama. The catastrophic nature of the disaster was there, but it felt grounded, not conveying the disaster aspect in the forefront and focusing more on the human element. It actually came across to me like an episode of The Walking Dead, even down to the cinematography and the overall feel of the movie as well. Of course, there are faults throughout the movie, and some of the journey felt like a series of fortunate events, where even against 1,000,000,000 odds, the family involved seemed to come out unscathed. Some of the plot elements didn't add up as well, and some of the actions of the characters would make me scratch my head. CGI and visual effects were decent. No inclusion of the big names in the industry like Weta Digital or Industrial Light and Magic, and it shows. But they weren't the worst I've ever seen, and it wasn't super distracting, so. Casting was respectable. Gerard Butler pretty much carried the movie, but supporting cast held their own. This is my first time seeing Morena Baccarin in a more dramatic role, and I thought she did a good job. It was hard for me to get a grasp on what angle their son Nathan, played by Roman Griffin Davis, was coming from, and I'd have to say he was the weakest link. Overall, this wasn't a bad disaster movie, as disaster movies go, but there was room for improvement on some of the overall story elements and definitely the effects. I don't think there was anything presented to me that would really warrant seeing this on the big screen. You could get the same effect waiting until it comes to streaming or disc. But I do think the saving grace was the end of the movie. Even though it was a bit heavy-handed on the message, I think the ending elevated my scoring from ranking it lower. I give this one a solid B-. This has been another real review by Lamzeel. Until the next one, peeps, peace.